Hey everyone, it's Blockchain Bernie here, broadcasting live from Las Vegas. Danger ahead. There are going to be rough times for all investors in everything growth related, and especially for you SOL investors. So there are some real dangers out there, and I wanted to warn you. And this is a live stream, so I give you fully up-to-date information. I'll go through it with you on what has driven the rally so far, what has driven the pullback that we saw in the last few days, and what we can expect in the future, which of course is the most important part. So make sure to watch it all through the end. So let's just dive right into it. Let's have a look at the SOL chart here. So this is a 1-year chart. So we were here in the teens. It went down to like, $9 something by the end of the year. Everyone was selling, well, because of the FTX debacle, of course, but also because it was the end of the year. So there was some tax loss harvesting and all these type of things. So let's have a look at that chart, logarithmic, by the way. I always say never look at long-term charts in a linear chart. Use the logarithmic one. And now you see the recent rally here a little bit. It looks a little bit less intimidating here because we even had more of a rally here from below $10 to 24, right, within just a month. So, and this has almost, now it took a little bit longer than a month this time, and it was not really a 2.5x here. It went from 22 to, 53. So yeah, that's the way to look at it. And then look at the volume here, right? So after the sell-off here by the end of the year, volumes were really high of people, getting back into SOL at these low prices here. And then nothing happened for a long, long time here, right? And then just recently, volume went up and prices went up like crazy, right? And why has that been? Well, what drives the market these days? It is mostly, you guessed it, interest rates, right? So right out of today, the 10-year Treasury yield tumbles below 4.5% on that cool October inflation report. So what we're seeing here is inflation. Inflation has peaked a couple of months ago. It is coming down, right? Inflation rates are coming down. So now many of you might say, well, if I go to the grocery store, it's not as cheap as it was, many years ago. It's 2 years ago even. It's still super expensive. Yeah, and we still have even some inflation. It's still getting more expensive, but the rate at which prices are getting higher, it is coming down. And that trend has started, and we never know, it might flare up again. But I believe we have a very good chairman of the Fed, Jay Powell, who is very competent in, not trying to get relief too soon, right? So he's shouting into the market, hey, we might not be done. And, if there's any signs, we're still determined to bring those inflation rates down to 2%. So he's doing a great job, in my opinion, to get us to that soft landing. And at some point in time, the economy might slow down. Then we need to decrease interest rates really fast if that happens at some point in time. But right now, the economy is going great. So that means inflation rates are coming down, and all those stocks that have been hammered the most and all those cryptos that have been hammered the most, they are coming back, right? And that's always the same phenomenon. The ones now that have most of their value in the far future, those are being hammered the most in a high interest rate climate, right? Because we have to discount the future profits at a higher rate, and then the present value, the present price comes down substantially. And Solana, as we have seen, went down like 97% from its peak, right? So all of these that have been hammered the most for only that reason, right? I mean, if something has been hammered because it's a shitty cryptocurrency or it's a shitty stock, then obviously it might not come back, right? But in the case of Sol, what's this video is about, it is an awesome, awesome asset, and it can do a lot, and it's the only blockchain smart contract platform that can really scale and get billions and billions of users onboarded, and more people see that, right? And that's why when we look at CoinGecko here, we see Solana at rank 7 here. It was even rank 6 when I looked into it this morning. So you see USDC and Solana, they are kind of head to head, right? Both at 23 million something. So with a small price movement in Solana, it's getting back to number 6. And I expect it to be number 6 for some time, and even pass or flip Ripple at some point in time, and flip BNB at some point in time. So I personally believe, within a few months, we will see Solana at number 4 here, right? So what does that all mean? It just means that there has been a big rally, and the same thing that I told you, like what has been hammered the most is coming up the fastest. The same is true the other way around as well. It just means that what goes up must come down. That's the old rule, and it still applies today. And I always recommend taking some profits at these high rallies, right? And as you've seen in the chart here with the volume, many people went into the market here. Many people came into the market right here. So there's a lot of people that are sitting on a lot of gains, and many people will just take profits, right? Some of them will take all the profits, like all the traders that have a short-term horizon. But even long-term investors, as myself am, we might take some percentage of profit, right? If you're at a 5x right now with your Sol holdings, and you sell 20%, you have your money back that you originally invested. And think about that, you still have 80% of your portfolio and you've paid nothing for it, right? Even if you lose it all someday, which of course is very unlikely, you wouldn't really have lost anything. So that's why many people take profits. And if we look at that chart here, at a 1 month chart, we see all these pullbacks here, and this kind of larger pullback that we're currently experiencing. That's all driven by profit takers, right? And they do the right thing. They take some profit here, and also the market has been a little bit slowed down even for Sol, because the FTX estate, right? The administrator of insolvency, they inherited all that estate, all the Sol holdings, and they've been selling it off. And guess what? They are done right now. So in the past few weeks, they have been selling off a total Sol amount worth of $280 million. So more than $250 million. They sold that all off in the open market, and the market absorbed it really well, right? So that is even a more bullish sign for Sol, and that means in the future there will be no downward pressure anymore from the FTX estate. So that speaks for further gains. But here's the danger, right? The danger is there can always be profit taking, and there can be a lot of profit taking that drives down the price. There is also a way more important risk, and that is you. Yeah, it's you yourself and your little brain here, right? Because what happens with all these gains, you think you're a genius, right? You think, hey, I invested in Sol when it was $11, and nothing can happen to me. I'm invincible. I'm buying more, and I'm not selling a bit, right? And that happens so quickly for very, very intelligent people. We just have different parts in our brain. We have one part that we use for thinking, our thinking mind, but we also have what I call the croc brain, which is, part of the brain that has been there in our, ancestors like crocodiles or something. And it's just deeply rooted reactions, like knee-jerk reactions that happen within the chemistry of our minds. And that is the real danger, right? So if we become complacent here, and if we think we're a genius and we just keep buying and never selling, that is the danger, right? And then at some point in time, there can be a big crash. So don't do that. Try to master your emotions here and think about, let's take a little bit of profit, right? And I'm preaching that here, but I tell you the truth, I haven't sold any so far, but I might real soon, right? I'm kind of super convinced of Solana, so it's a little bit tough for me to do that, but I might sell a little bit. I certainly recommend it. And by the way, none of that is financial advice. This is all just for purely entertainment purposes and to give you some information so that you can use. So yeah, that is the real danger. And also there's the danger of interest rates, right? The next inflation report and the next one is due tomorrow with the producer price index, right? We had the consumer CPI, consumer price index today. Tomorrow's the PPI. And let's see how the PPI is going, right? If there's some bad news there, of course, there can be further pullbacks and the whole rally could lose steam, and this whole thing could turn out to be what's called a bull trap. Yeah, so those are the dangers. If you like content like this, please absolutely give me that like. It doesn't cost you much, I promise, and it helps us a lot. It's really important for the YouTube algorithm, so thank you in advance. And if you have any input on the future development of the Sol price, things like that, please leave me a comment, and I'd like to discuss it with you. Do it right here rather than on other channels, because we want to discuss it right here where I said it, right, in this YouTube channel. So for today, thanks for watching.